Welcome to Tidy Up Texan. I'm Nicole, and today we are going to be working on my office turned storage room. And as you can see, there's a lot going on in here. When we were preparing Morgan's old room for our new guest, Morgan wasn't completely moved out, and because it was so unexpected, we needed a temporary solution for where all of her things are going to go, so they all landed in my office. But since I don't really need an office anymore, I want to transform this room into a guest room. So the goal for today is to get all of my inventory out and start arranging this room as a guest room. So first I want to clear some space so that I can get to the back wall, which is all of my inventory. For now, I'm pulling all of Morgan's things out and lining them against the wall in the hallway. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with all this inventory. I might just end up donating everything, or I might add it to a future garage sale that we must have. We have so much stuff in our warehouse that we have to go through and get rid of. But I do know there are a few things in my inventory that I would like to keep, so I plan to quickly go through each bin and pull out anything that's obvious that I want to keep. And as for Morgan's things, I'm going to have to put most of it back, but I want to put it in a way that's easy for her to go through and transfer back down to her room. But I also know that's going to take some time, so I'm going to go ahead and stage the room with her things. Now the bed frame is not Morgan's, that was actually my son's old bed, so that will stay in the room indefinitely. I don't have a mattress for this bed as of yet. However, the Murphy bed downstairs is also a queen size bed, so I might use that mattress temporarily. Alright, I'm almost done taking out most of Morgan's things before I start tackling my things. And everything that I'm taking out of mine will not be returning to this room. But I'm trying to make as much space as I can to start moving things around. Alright, we can finally get to my inventory. This first container is empty, so I'm going to use it to hold the things that I am keeping. So this first bin is mostly textile, things such as blouses, bathing suits, hats, and pajama wear, and I am going to be keeping the hats. So if you are curious about what I'm keeping, let me know in the comments, and if so, I will include it in part 2 of this room transformation. And this next bin is home decor, from ceramic figurines to vintage glassware. And I'm going to be keeping the vintage milk glass cups and a set of Royal Frog figurines. Oh, and a couple of vintage belt buckles for my son. And this next bin is a bunch of belts, dog collars, and ties, none of which I'm keeping. And this ceramic bird is also going. The next bin is full of clutches and travel bags, also not keeping. The next bin is full of mugs and tumblers, and I'll be keeping a couple of those. And I think on this last shelf here is all ceramic decor. And I end up keeping a decorative bowl, the kind that you put at the entryway and throw your keys in. But other than that, that is it for this shelf. So now I'm going to take this shelf and bring it to the end of the hall and put all the things that I'm not keeping back on the shelves in that hall. Alright, on to the next set of shelves. On the first three set of shelves is a mix of toys, games, phone accessories, and some small miscellaneous things. And then on the bottom shelf, there's a bag full of clothes, but it was so stuffed full that I'm going to have to go through it another time. And then the rest are more valuable things, such as sports memorabilia, fine china, and high-end decor. For now, I've set aside the clothing that I need to go through and all of the more valuable stuff. Alright, on to the last set of shelves. Here we have some larger decor, and all I'm taking is a tin vase that I absolutely love, but I didn't have a place for it, so I might actually use it in this room in the future. The next bin is also decor, mostly artwork, and wall hangings. These next two bins are mostly toys, puzzles, and plushies. The three smaller containers have jewelry and accessories in it. And the last shelf has very, very high-end decor, which I will be keeping for now, but I probably will be sending them to a consignment store, along with some of the fine china that I have. Last but not least is some books and DVDs, all of which of course are going out of here. And I want to vacuum where all the shelves were and then start moving this bed frame. But first, let's move all these keepers to the other side of the room for now. So this room is pretty small, and there's only really two places I can put this bed, either where it is under the window or along this back wall. I may decide to change it later, but Morgan has a lot of furniture in here, so I need to be able to make room for most of the furniture that I'm going to be putting back. And for now, the best option is this back wall. So now that I have this bed in place, I'm going to be playing around with the furniture a bit. There are two nightstands, two small bookshelves, and two very large bookshelves that I need to figure out. Oh, and then there's this lamp, which to this day I still don't know what to do with. But like I said, most of the stuff is just being stored in here temporarily. The only thing that's really going to stay is this bed and maybe a few other items. But for now, I'm just trying to stage this room the best I can with what I got. So the second nightstand is pretty wide, so I decided to put the smaller nightstand next to the bookshelf. That way I can have more walking room on the right side of the bed. And since there are two of those corner bookshelves, they are pretty big and take up a lot of space. So I'm only going to leave one of the bookshelves in the hallway for now. And the corner that's on now is the only corner I can put it in this room. Now there is another bookshelf in here, but it's behind the door, and there is a closet right behind it, which the shelf makes it almost impossible to open that door. So instead of this little white bookshelf under the window, I'm going to go ahead and swap the white one with the pink one. Now, I know you see that pile in that awkward little hall space, and we will get to that. But first, I have a few items in this closet that are mine and Ryan's that we were storing in here. And since Morgan already had some stuff stored in here as well, I'm going to go ahead and utilize that for more storage for her stuff. Morgan has three little carts, which I was hoping all three would fit along with these pictures, but unfortunately this closet is very tiny, so I'm going to do my best to put as much as I can in here. And if you're wondering what that little chirping is, those are her dogs barking. All right, that is all that she will fit. And although not ideal, I'm going to go ahead and put the cart behind here along with that awkward lamp. But at least they're easy to slide out of the way when she needs to get in there. Now in the second closet, that is mostly all my packing supplies and office supplies, which I will for now be using this as a storage. But first I want to clear it out and install one of those shelves that I was using for the inventory. All right, now that I have this all cleared out, I'm going to try to put this shelf in here, but I couldn't get it through the door. So I have to take it apart and reinstall it. But luckily, once it was in, it was the perfect size. Now that that's all done, we're going to start putting everything that I'm definitely going to be storing in this room for the time being. Starting with some of these more valuable pieces, I don't have the proper storage boxes for them, and with having a plethora of animals, I rather keep them stored in here. So all the boxes I'm putting up high are mostly empty, and I didn't realize it was out of view of the camera, so I apologize for that. But for now, this is just a rough organization, and I'm just trying to figure out what is staying and what is going. So next time we will be getting back in here and organizing it a lot better than it is now. This little hall is so small and so awkward, I have no idea what to do with it. It's too narrow to put shelves, and at the end is a window, so I can't really put a whole lot of furniture in front of it. So if you have any ideas, go ahead and shoot them down in the comments. So as you can see, there was still quite a bit of stuff in that little haul, but I pretty much got everything out of there that I wanted to store in the closet. So I'm going to switch over to my office supplies and packing supplies and separate it from keeping and going so I can start making some space to clear out that little haul. So for the most part, this bin is full of inventory, but I did shove it in the corner and stack a bunch of stuff on top of it. So I'm just separating out that stuff from the inventory, which was pretty easy because most of the stuff was Halloween or Christmas decor. And I personally don't decorate anymore, and I don't celebrate Halloween, so none of that is going to stay. Other than Christmas, I've never really been the type to decorate for the seasons or for the holidays, although I do love seeing everybody else's decor. I personally couldn't ever justify spending that kind of money on decor, especially because when my kids were young, we were never home. We spent most of our time either I was working, kids were in school, and when we weren't at home or school, we were spending most of our time outside. We did live on the coast of California, so we were either at the beach, at the park, taking trips up to the mountain or to the desert, but we rarely spent any time in the house. And if you live in California or ever lived in California, you know the cost of living is super high, so I just couldn't see us spending money on things we didn't thoroughly enjoy. And as for Christmas, I'm at the stage of life where my kids are grown and we live 1,400 miles apart, and I'd rather spend money on nicer gifts for my older children than buying decor that I can't use all year round. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, but it works for me. So a few of these boxes in the hall are Ryan's. I had him go through the closet and declutter as much as possible, but he still doesn't want to get rid of any of it. So until I can convince him otherwise, I'm going to have to find another place to store it. But I'm running out of steam and my back is really starting to hurt. So for the rest of the stuff in the hallway, I'm just kind of separating what is obviously leaving and the rest I'm going to have to go through another day. But I do want to clear out this hall and vacuum it up and then get as much as I can stored in the closet, which in hindsight, I should have stopped right here because boy, am I paying for it now. My back is pretty much out of commission. Luckily, not at the point where I can't walk, but I am definitely in a lot of pain. And this is where I hear Ryan in my ear, don't go overdoing it. But I was so excited to start on this room and seeing all the progress I was making, it was really hard to find a stopping point. Let me tell you about this screen here. So when we bought the house, the previous owner said that they had screens for the windows, but they had them off and they were willing to reinstall the screens, but they decided to put all the screens in all the wrong places. In my son's room, there is no screen. In this room, there are two screens, one on the side of the window that opens and one on the side of the window that doesn't. And in Morgan's old room, the screen is on the side of the window that doesn't open. So I attempted to try to put the screens back where they belong, but they are nearly impossible to take off and even more impossible to put back in. So I'm pretty sure we'll have to replace all the screens on the second story. And it kind of feels like the previous owner was being petty when we requested that he put the screens back on. I don't know. What do you think? All right, we are finally done with this closet and at a stopping point. There is a ton more to do, but at least now you can walk into the room. Remember where we started from? This room was packed from wall to wall and almost from floor to ceiling. We literally had a 2 by 4 walking space in this room, but we got everything out that needs to be out, and everything else is being staged temporarily as a guest room. But do stay tuned for part 2 when we come back in here, get everything better organized, and adding the final touches. Plus, we'll be working in the hallway, getting it all cleared out from all the stuff that was in here, which I'll show you the hallway in just a second. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and come say hello in the comments. All the engagement really helps my channel out, and I still am pretty new at this, so I can only improve from here. And my channel doesn't go anywhere without you. So stick around, share it out to a friend, and help me expand this little community. And as always, I so appreciate you spending your time with me here today. You guys are the absolute best. I love you, and until next time, bye!